guys have my papers? There you go. Hello, my name is Christina Kinney, and I am very glad to be speaking in chapel today. First, I'm going to talk about how my journey through music and theater performance, which has been a part of my life since I was 12 years old. So, and for me, performing is something I've always wanted to do, but I didn't always really know it was what I wanted to do with my life. It gives me a way to communicate by pretending to not be myself, or to even to show a specific part of myself that through my music or my theater performance. It is also has a purpose as a way to express my faith more effectively. I could never be a person who could pray out loud. I could never do that in front of a group. But when I sing hymns or sing any kind of sacred music, I feel much more comfortable having that as my form of prayer in front of a group. And I'm always aware of talent is always given by God for a purpose, and I just always that was something I always needed to remind myself of if I ever came into one of those situations where I've been in those situations before. I'm like, oh no, I can't sing, but I always remind myself that God has given me this voice, and that was not meant to be silenced, and that I know that I'm there to affect others with my performance. Now, with my journey in performance, I first came to it through musical theater, and I remember when I was 13 or 14, I wanted to be a musical theater major in college. But then I gradually came to gravitate toward classical music while I was still doing a lot of musicals and plays through school. I was one of the most musically involved students in my middle school. I played in 3 bands, sang in 4 choirs. I did the musical and an acting troupe outside of school. But unfortunately, in high school, I was rejected from every single school musical because my school was much bigger than Westminster. We had about 2,500 students, so I was rejected from everything until I got a role in a play my senior year. But I still got rejected from all the musicals, and I realized that maybe musical theater wasn't really my thing, or maybe it was just the school and nothing ever came up that was right for me, because we had a very competitive theater program, especially with musicals. Because even with the rejection in high school, I still kept at it though. I kept realizing that performing is where I belonged, and when I didn't let the rejection get to me, I just kept going for all my 4 years of high school. I kept going for the musical every year, even though I did not get in. But I still kept involved. I got involved backstage. I was a stage manager in high school. I've done stage management. I've done light board operating here at Westminster before I was ever in any shows, and that for some reason the rejection just never got to me, and I figured that was a sign that I was meant to continue with this, even though not necessarily by doing musicals. I wanted to, if I hadn't been rejected, I might actually have never thought of what my current career path is. I'm currently on a career path to be an opera singer, and when I graduate from here, I'm hoping to just jump in and start auditioning for opera. And I thought of opera for the first time as something I could do during my freshman year of college here, and I got involved with my first opera. I was still a music minor at the time because I wanted to go for something practical, so I was just minoring in music. But I got involved in my first opera, and that was just such a great experience for me. I just kept coming back to it. And a couple of years ago, I realized that I was having much more fun in opera than I was in any of my classes that were outside of my music minor. So I decided to make music my only major and to focus even more on my performance. Opera has been the one constant experience I've had. I have been in it for 6 semesters that it's been offered so far, and I will probably be doing it again next semester. So that's just been something I've always liked to do. It was like doing musical theater, but I could focus on my music just as much as I could with my acting and everything that I had already been doing. It was just the perfect medium for me to work in. And also the teamwork and collaboration that goes into putting these performances together. As it's helped me learn to work with others better, and it's just something that has always, I've gotten to be more into the collaborative process of working with others, working with scene partners, working with directors. I've just gotten to do that so much better, and it's really helped me prepare for going out into the performance world. I still understand, because I'm a liberal arts music major, I still understand the necessity of doing doing practical work to support my opera training. But however, I do not want to lose out on possibilities I may have in performing. I've had great teachers here who've been encouraging me all the way. So that's just something and because God has given me this gift of performing and singing in my operas, that's something I feel I have to do with my life. And I understand that He's given me this voice in acting for a purpose of moving others, which is an extension of expressing my faith in this way. My other journey I've experienced through my faith is through doing service. I joined Alpha Phi Omega the first semester of my freshman year. My encounter with that was I basically just saw an all-campus email about a service fraternity having a recruitment party. And I had done a lot of service in high school through my 4-H club, and I participated in the crop walk with my church every year, but I hadn't been able to do as much service as I wanted to in high school. So I decided I'd get involved with this group that was where I'd get to meet people. Because I was a freshman, I didn't really know that many people. So it was a great opportunity to meet people. I had such a great time at that recruitment party with like-minded people. I decided to pledge the group right away. The thing about service that I've always felt was something I like to do was that when I perform acts of service, I forget about myself to only think of others and what I'm doing for them. And it helps me see myself in a positive way no matter what, which has sometimes been an issue for me. Because I forget about the small things that that I might have done wrong or something, and I focus on the bigger picture of what that act of service meant to someone else, which which is basically an act of selflessness. And it's always been my goal to be a selfless person. And when I perform these acts of service, it's always something that I focus on the big picture of what I just did, and that always makes me feel better about myself and the work I'm doing. And Alpha Phi Omega has been so much more than service opportunities for me. I've gotten so much leadership experience, and I actually tried for leadership one year, but during my sophomore year, but I did not get any leadership positions that year. But I knew that when I was ready, I would be able to take leadership positions, and now I'm Sergeant at Arms. I'm leading a committee and basically helping to make meetings run smoothly, which is just a great opportunity. I never thought I'd get to be able to run a committee or any of that during my freshman year. I would never have even envisioned myself doing any of that. And I've gotten friendships I probably would have never found otherwise. When I first pledged Alpha Phi Omega, I didn't know where anybody hung out on campus, so I was always eating lunch and dinners by myself. And then some of the brothers of Alpha Phi Omega told me that we all eat in Berlin Lounge. So I decided that, so then I started eating in Berlin Lounge with the brothers. Now I can't imagine eating my meals and hanging out with people anywhere else. And I can't imagine hanging out with better people than my AFIO brothers. And every experience, from Haunted Bio Trail, Locks of Love, folding clothes at Kirkwood House, it's all been a learning experience that I just never would have gotten without my brothers. It's just been a great experience. I'm going to be really sad to see to be back in New Jersey and not able to experience all of this when I graduate. And service is just is so much more to me than I ever thought it would, but I get to experience